We have reached the end, fellas. Brad Anderson from 103.9 The Truck and Chase Miller from 740 The Fan in studio. If you can't tell, they are different people besides what they're wearing today. Didn't plan this, but we love it. We're here to preview Dakota Bowl 26. I can't say I'm really all that surprised at any of these championship games, guys, considering the only 2 losses among the 8 teams that will be playing tomorrow were against the team that they'll be playing in the championship. There really is no Cinderella in this case. Let's start with how things are going to play out on Friday. It'll begin with the Class A championship shortly after 9 a.m., a rematch from last year with Hillsborough Central Valley playing Langdon, Edmore, Munich. The Burros defense has been dominant all year. They were the difference last year in that game, I thought. But Cardinals quarterback Simon Romfo could create problems with his feet. He's a sophomore, but he's passed for over 2,000 yards and 29 touchdowns and rushed for 840 yards and 12 more scores. He could be the X factor in this one.
Just having somebody that touches the ball every play, and obviously you get in the bigger type games, we ask him to do a little more for us running the football. Simon throws the football pretty well too, and he's a very intelligent, very cerebral type quarterback.
Well, we're kind of polar opposites. We run a lot, they pass a lot, so it's going to be interesting. We're definitely putting a lot of faith into our backs. He's definitely skilled. Their quarterback can throw and the receivers can catch, but that's our job. We got to go in and shut that down.
I think our pass coverage is really underrated. We haven't gone against a lot of pass-heavy teams yet this year, so I think it'll give our cornerbacks it'll give them a chance to show how good they really are. So we had 7 interceptions last week, so that stat right there is pretty impressive. So I think they're going to get some more chances this week. It'll be fun.
Well, we just heard what the teams had to say. Brad, what's this game going to come down to?
I think it's going to come to the fact turnovers will be a big factor. I mean, Langdon essentially won the game last week against Bowman County on an interception defensively. So I think turnovers will be a big factor. And can Langdon control the ball? Can they keep that Hillsborough defense on the field for any length of time?
Next up will be the 9-man tilt between unbeaten's Thompson and New Salem Glen Ellen, a rematch of the 2016 state championship where we got to see the cattle hauler in person for the first time at the Fargodome for the whole season. The Tommies won that game 54-20. These 2 teams have a lot of talent on the field. The all-state teams will be littered with Holsteins and Tommies, which is what makes this showdown so fun for the players.
We feel like we have an offense that can play with their offense, but I think when it comes down to it, it's going to be our defense that's going to have to make some stops at some key times.
We're going to have to take care of the ball. We can't have turnovers. Thompson's a really good team, just like we are. We both deserve to play there, so you can't go into the state championship with turnovers, and we just need to execute. We'll do all right.
They got a heck of a quarterback and a very talented receiver and running back, and they're loaded offensively, and so we're going to have to stay tight on defense.
All right, Chase, how do you see this game playing out on Friday?
Playmakers galore. You already said there's going to be a lot of all-state playmakers. You look at Schwabe, the quarterback for Thompson, and what he's done this year, 50 touchdowns by himself running and passing on the season. Then you look to Hankey, and Hankey's got a nice backfield for what they can provide. He has the ability to be a freight train, but he has the ability to play defensive end at a quarterback, which you don't see too much ever in football. So I think it's the ground and pound game against the Holsteins, against the up-tempo, high-power offense of Thompson. There could be a lot of points in this 9-man championship.
Yeah, maybe like 50 to 40. Who knows what'll happen? Well, the third game of the day pits Shanley and St. Mary's against one another for the 2nd straight year. Shanley has won the last 2 regular season meetings, but the Saints won the title bout last year. Both teams expect a fight to the finish.
We got to make sure that we finish drives, and we got to make sure that we get them off the field. They like to do the same thing, and they like to run the ball, but I know, just not turn the ball over, not beat ourselves, and not have penalties.
Just our rivalry, just after playing them, it's always a good game. It's just both teams are going to come out with their best, and it's going to just be a dogfight from the start to the end.
They're good fundamentally, and it's nice to play a team like that because you have to be at your best of your game.
Brad, what does Shanley have to do to get over the hump and finally deny the Saints as they go for the three-peat?
One thing that was really impressive about St. Mary's against Central Cass, how efficient they were. They just didn't make any mistakes. I think if you can shut down Heinert. I know he was a little banged up against Central Cass, but it didn't, or going into the matchup of Central Cass, but it sure didn't show it. He made some big plays. I think you got to shut him down and see if Dosh can beat him up over the top of his arm.
Yeah, and for Shanley last week, it was Cade Busick run, Cade Busick run. They really just had to limit their offense to that, but they were able to force a lot of turnovers. We'll see if they'll be able to do that again against St. Mary's. The final game we kind of figured was coming, Bismarck High against Bismarck Century. Two bitter rivals meeting in the title game for the 4th time. Bismarck won the regular season game 36-22 in October, and the Demons have been the most dominant team in the state. The only thing left for them to do is finish the job.
Well, obviously every year you want to come in and win the state title, and we've had a successful season so far, but as every team you want to win that state title, so that's how we want to finish it.
It helps a lot to have a lot of seniors, a lot of contributors. We've got a very strong offense, very strong defense, and a lot of guys that go both ways, a lot of talented kids, and it just helps a ton.
Bismarck High's got a great high-powered offense. Their defense is very solid, and I think we'll have a good game plan ready, but it's going to be a dogfight. Nothing's going to come easy.
I think the one thing that you're going to see on the field is a lot of speed, and they bring it on both sides of the ball and special teams. And that's the one thing that we've got to counter somehow is we got to negate that speed, or at least control it and keep it in front of us.
Guys, is there a key matchup that you're really looking forward to watching in this game? Brad, we'll start with you.
You know, I think just trying to see what the Bismarck running game can do, because I think that's how they win the battle. They win it up front. They're big and physical up front, and I think that's line play is going to be key.
Chase?
For Bismarck defense, it's controlling Cade Feeney. He's such a dual-threat quarterback. He doesn't make mistakes with how Ron Wingenbach runs his offense. They're going to limit possessions. They're going to try to get the running game going. And then what Brad said earlier in the Class A game, it's turnovers. Bismarck Century took advantage of 4 turnovers against West Fargo Cheyenne in their win. While for Bismarck High, they scored 17 points off of 3 turnovers right off the bat against Fargo Davies. So turnovers will be large. Maybe the team to knock off Bismarck High this year could be their rival in Bismarck Century.
29 turnovers forced by Bismarck this season. I think it comes down to Century needing to move the chains and, like we've talked about, not turn it over. The Demons will score, but if Century can limit their possessions by chewing up the clock a little bit, I think that'll help their case to pull an upset. It's going to be a fun day at the Fargodome. Championship football all day. How can you beat it, guys?
You can't.
Brad and Chase, thanks for coming in for the playoff push. Back to you.